talk, ask, think logically, wisely, and don't stop by listening to anyone. Just be logical and think by yourself that will this flourish? Will this grow? If it says yes, then don't stop yourself, go for it.
Hello, guys, and welcome to episode 19 of Sustainability Simplified, your bi monthly dose of how to seamlessly build an action oriented, sustainable, and profitable business. I'm your host, Zitin. And before proceeding with the episode today, I'd like to make a special announcement. And what's that? I'm super happy to share that Sustainability Simplified is now the official podcast of the Sustainability Council.in, an international network of sustainability enthusiasts, professionals, experts, and entrepreneurs, both product and service providers. And if you'd like to join this growing network, register on sustainabilitycouncil.in. Okay, back to the episode. Today, in episode 19, we will hear from Lakshit Kankariya, who is the founder and CEO of Paap Mukt. Welcome, Lakshit. It's a pleasure to have you on the show. How are you today?
I'm great. Thank you very much, Zitin. It's a pleasure to have you. And thank you. Thank you very much.
Great, so let's dive in.
Yes, totally.
Okay, awesome. Okay, so please share a little bit about yourself and your journey of starting Paap Mukt. Any influential moment in your life, maybe, that made you really start this enterprise?
Sure, sure. So, hello everybody again. As Zitin introduced me again, I'm Lakshit Kankariya, the founder of a brand called Paap Mukt. I would like to speak about the brand and what we do. So, we are a Bangalore-based, plant-based, 100% vegan brand where we try to promote living a life on plants, which is healthier for the planet, for us, and for animals as well. And we have grown exponentially, wonderfully, with the love of people around us. And the reason to start the brand was just one reason, that the products we sell, not every all of them, but most of them do exist already. But the difference between them and us, that we are making it affordable and not trying to charge more money in the name of veganism. That's the whole idea on which we have built this brand up, and we stand differently on that part of it.
Right.
Otherwise, there was just one thing, the reason to start. I was worried. I've always been a person who's been conscious about my habits,
Yeah.
not really conscious about the way I ate, but conscious about the way things were happening around me. I saw everything from television, and was always that person who never who followed those things which were seen on television, which felt right to me. For example, wearing a helmet, or not breaking the rules and all of that. So that kind of person I've always been. So when I so I that I think that helped me a lot to recognizing the problems existing,
Right.
and problem with climate change and all of that. And that was the reason I went vegan, because I wanted an healthy lifestyle for myself,
Right.
and something good for the planet. So yeah, that's the story. And then after some months of going vegan, I started a brand called Paap Mukt, which is now more than a year and some months.
So, Lakshit, that was a great story, definitely. It would be great for our listeners who may not understand Hindi if you can also explain the meaning of the two words Paap Mukt.
So the meaning of the name means sin, which Paap is sin, and Mukt is free. So it's sin free. That's is the meaning of the name.
Right, absolutely. Thank you so much for sharing that. And you also touched upon some of the aspects of, environmental conservation and what really sparked that consciousness within you to actually also go vegan yourself. And then soon after you started the this brand. Tell us a little bit about what role food can play, in protecting the planet.
Sure, sure. So the problem with food here is all kind of food we eat does produce some or other kind of carbon, say carbon dioxide, methane, or some other harmful greenhouse gases for the planet. So
Right.
I so no food. If you wish to really live, save a planet, then you should, people would say that you should not eat food. But I think that's not a right and a logical answer to the problem. The problem with animal products is that all the vitamins and protein and minerals we get from these animal products can be we can get directly from not consuming them from the from plants.
Right.
The problem here is a plant gets the sun is the important part for all of us. Sun is what helps us, all of us, animals, humans, and plants.
Right.
And what happens, so sun gives light to plant grows, and the plants are eaten by cow, and the plant are the source of protein for those cow. And so what a logical explanation or a logical thing would be that remove that cow from between and consume those plants which you're giving to the cow, which will give the protein and the vitamin and all of them to you.
Right.
So then, so what comes in, people say no, that doesn't work, there are some different kind of chemicals, that this different way cow works, and we get B12 from milk, we get B12 from beef. So the B12 thing doesn't work today. So what happens, some years back, when culture agriculture was free from chemicals and all of that, so B12 comes from plants. B12 is a bacteria which exist in ground, which is like, soil and all of that, or in that, those plants have B12. When cows and other animals eat these plants, the B12 goes into their body, and we consume their products, and we people said that you get B12. But the problem now is, almost every part of the world, they use chemicals to grow these plants. So B12 existing into, in the soil or the plants is impossible, because the bacteria is dying because of the chemicals which is given to the plants, right?
Right.
So what happens today is all these agriculture, farmers and dairy farmers and all these animal farmers, what they do is they inject a lot of B12 injections into these cows. I'm not making this up, I have seen this, how cows are breeded, how things are done with them. So these all are given to these animals to put those proteins and minerals, so we believe that they are still having that, and cow milk is the only source of having it.
Oh, okay.
So that's the problem. Now the problem with agriculture and climate change is, a cow, an animal, needs a lot of food to eat, a lot of water. So you need water to wash them, you need water to, what you say, they drink a lot of water, they eat a lot of food.
Yeah.
So the process of it is, when a cow gives a birth to a calf, after some months she's made pregnant again by artificial insemination. Cow gets pregnant, and then after 9 months the kid is again taken and the milk happens. So this happens continuously for 5 to 6 years, and after 5 to 6 years, when this cow can't give milk anymore, this cow is thrown away on roads, or are taken or and sold to the beef industry. And the thing here is, India as a country is world's number one beef producer. A country where it says that we love cows, cow is our mother. It's India, world's number one beef producer and exporter as well. So water, food eaten by these animals, consumed by these animals, the area they take, their burps and their farts are so polluting. So the it I think people who are conscious about climate change and all of that, they would surely know that how much methane is produced and how harmful methane is. And then, so beef as a food product is world's number one polluting food item. I'm trying to focus more on cow and buffaloes because these are very, very polluting and very bad for the planet.
Yeah.
Of course, chickens and pigs are totally connected as well, but I would like to put a force up here on cows, because the problem here is, what happens when all of these animals, when they are breeded, they need a lot of food. And for these food, when you see there are fires in these big jungles and big, for say Amazon and Australia bush fires and all of these, we think these fires are happening naturally. Sometimes there is theories come ki do सूखे हुए पेड़ थे, they did clash and the fire erupted in whole of the jungle. But that doesn't it's not the way how it works.
Right.
What happens, these big meat producing companies and milk producing companies, what they do is, put these jungles on fire on purpose to produce more and more food for these animals, because they don't have any more place, and the jungles are the only place where can they have their own monopoly and do whatever they want. And governments would not say them much, if because all of these countries, where Brazil and all of these various countries, their governments are have so many already problems with corruption and all of that. So these things are very normal there, and they cut more and more of these things and all of that. And Amazon rainforest, there are more it produces more carbon dioxide now than it absorbed. So you know the impact which is putting up here. And then people come up when you say this, that they produce soy, then there is a reverse statement from the people that vegans drink soy milk and tofu and all of that which is made of from soy. So as the statistics, 90% of the soy produced in Amazon, in the Latin America, is fed to cows, and only 10% of that soy is used by humans for various needs, such as tofu and soy milk and all of the various things.
Hmm.
So that's the problem which is happening. Yeah. As well, the waste which animals produce, all waste, what happens, for example, let me take India. So the waste is produced by chickens, pigs, and buffaloes and cows. They are washed. If they don't wash the poop and all of that of cows, they will give diseases to these other animals, and they'll get diseases as well. So what they do is they clean everything with water. So first the water is being wasted, the all the waste material which is cleaned goes into the lakes, first goes into the gutters,
Right.
then gutter water goes into the lakes, the lake waters goes into the river, the river water goes into the sea, which ultimately kills the fishes of the sea, because it has a lot of chemicals in there, which they produce, which they release from their body. So the waste produced by these cows and all other animals, various animals, kill these fishes in the sea, because fishes and marine life in the sea, because they have a lot of chemicals fed in day to day their lives. So I was able to explain the relation of food and problem of climate change, and how food and both of them are related.
Right, right. No, absolutely. That is quite a convoluted process, and of course, it's not as simple as it seems. Definitely.
Yeah,
So, one thing that you did touch upon earlier, which is a broader question, which is, of course, people are happy, they know about veganism and vegan products. And one issue, of course, is to actually make people more aware about veganism and its myths. But like, a lot of people also say that, oh, veganism and all that is fine. It actually, yes, we know it protects the planet, it protects, animal species, etc. But it's so difficult to practice, and besides, it's so expensive, right? So um like, what do you have to say to that? Because I know that one of the USPs of Paap Mukt is to be a cost effective, provide cost effective vegan products. So what do you what would you say to that?
sure, sure. So yes, I agree on that part of it. That many of the things are expensive. One is also there are some companies which are surely making it expensive to make more money in the name of veganism.
Right.
But there are various companies which are trying to solve the problem of expensive things, because the demand is not that much.
Correct.
So the thing happens here is they everything is happening. You have all other various kind of milks and milk powders and vegan milk powders and vegan curd and all of that. So the reason they're expensive is first because they are made of plant-based products, which are the raw materials are expensive in the first place.
Yeah.
Most of the milks which are made with nuts, and nuts are pretty much expensive all over the world. And
Yeah.
so that expensive thing is always there, and it can only be solved when people start demanding, and the demand should rise more and more and grow more and more every day.
Right.
What happens sometimes, you never these the company never knows how much to produce and how much will they be able to sell in this part of it. And if they produce a lot, what if there is so much of stock left and not everything is sold? So they produce a very very little quantity of products which they know will be sold. And then what happens, then these small quantities, it makes it is expensive for these companies as well to produce. So I'm meaning I'm trying to talk about the vegan companies which are keen on idea of veganism, and are trying to make it less expensive and not trying to make money on the name of veganism. So the companies I know, my friends and my other companies which are very very big and have connects with,
Yeah.
their problem is that they don't have that many orders which for which they can make it. So what happens in simple economics is demand and supply. So how much demand it will there, that will be the supply, and how much demand will be there, the price of the product will rise. But in the vegan part of it, that how much demand will rise, the price will diminish and go down, because the cost of production will go down, the cost of raw materials will also go down. And so the what is required is more and more people becoming aware about the lifestyle and the way they live, and consuming and using more and more plant-based vegan food products.
Absolutely wonderful, wonderful. If you can tell us a little bit more about maybe any other challenges apart from this one, really the demand supply piece and the awareness generation, or any other new opportunities in the vegan space, because you mentioned that the demand for vegan products is actually increased by exponentially.
Yeah.
So, anything that you'd like to expand on that?
Yeah, so the demand has been coming up and people are wanting more and more of these. You know, me myself, if the all the podcasters had all my podcast guests we have had, in on my podcast, some year, some, in 2020, they see the one simple thing, that our growth in the year 2020 has been the biggest than ever, because people had time on internet, people had free time to check things and see things and all of those various things.
Yeah,
So people have more and more tried to accept these products and try them and understand what's the problem and how they can become a part of it. So that the demand has grown. The problems would be that these as a product have a different taste because they are made from nuts. So some nuts have some taste, which, for example, our main product is peanut curd, which is made from peanuts, and it's same like curd, but the difference only is it tastes like peanuts if it's eaten like normal dahi.
okay.
So you have to add a lot of spices and namak and all of those other things in it while you consume it. So our problem stays here, that we don't have a lot of innovation happening, because there is not much of funds coming from the private people or some big companies who are funding us to do anything as such. If big companies, big food companies come up and start investing in vegan market setups, vegan food
Yeah,
products, the there will be a lot of innovation happening, and the tastes will be changed, and then it will be more, people will start loving them, because the taste wise also they would start matching to the dairy one. We need to create more awareness, we need to tell that these products are good and not expensive. And those are some issues which always and still are there. I think a lot of things have grown and changed. Some innovations have started happening. A lot of vegan brands have also now got a bit of one of the brand was named Good Milk, which have got 7 crore of investment last month,
right.
from their seed funding round which they had done. So things are changing up, things are coming up, and I think, I would say, by 2025, 2020, 2030, the vegan brand should have a very good market as well in India, because if we are able to change 1% of vegans, no, vegetarians or non-vegetarians in India into vegans, I think we did and did make a big impact, because that 3%, 1% will be 3 crore of India. So I think that's we should be aiming at.
Absolutely. No, absolutely right, Lakshit. So thank you so much for sharing that. Of course, it's not an easy journey to be an entrepreneur, and on top of that, in veganism, which is, constantly judged in terms of being an area which is so expensive. Nobody wants to really practice it unless there's a very, very high motivation to really protect the environment as such. On another note, you fleetingly
Yeah.
mentioned about your podcast in the last question. I want you to talk a little bit about that and tell us, and tell our listeners about the podcast as well.
Sure, sure. So, I would say, whatever happened in my life, let it be starting Paap Mukt or starting anything as well, I think podcasting has been the way for every other questions I had. So I started creating podcasts in November 2019. I had just returned from France, and I was going through a big cultural shock of what's happening around us and what people are doing. I was worried about the things happening and all of that various things, and I thought of starting a podcast where I can address the problems and things which are haunting me every day. That why are cows there on the street, why is garbage there here, why people are not worried, why they are honking, why can't they follow the rules.
Right,
All of those various things were giving me a huge big thing. And why is there discrimination, why people are fighting in the name of religion, and all of those various things were there. I thought of, why not to ask someone who already has worked in it and get the answers for the questions I have.
right.
So I started a podcast I reached to people through Better India. I'm not sure if you're aware about it.
Yes,
So
yes,
the website is called the Better India,
yes.
and I emailed some people from there who were interested to join me in, and had a conversation. So these podcasts were done on camera that time, and after some while, I think after some months, COVID had hit and we had to move on Zoom.
Right,
And yeah, I have done more than 200 episodes as of now. And also I have two national records, which is India Book of Records and Asia Book of Records for them, for doing 200 episodes in a pandemic as a team. So yeah, that's about my podcasting work and journey.
amazing, amazing, guys. Just listen to that. Oh my God, so inspiring, so inspiring. I'm so inspired. Wonderful, and best wishes to continue this great journey ahead. So it's lovely that like me, you're also a podcaster. And if that wasn't enough, guys, Lakshit is also a best-selling author. Please tell our listeners about that as well.
Sure. Yeah. Thank you. So, again, that's related to my journey of being into France, where there was lack of a lot of things. People didn't knew about India, had a lot of assumptions about India.
Yeah,
So, I wrote a small book around 150 to 200 pages, where I write the whole process and what I did, and how unique is India, and how there are different kind of religions, and how India is as a country, and all of that things.
right.
um, and it was more kind of an informatic book, and I think it did hit well, and it has been bestseller, and for more than 2 years it has been on the top charts of Amazon. We have been there in top 100 since 2 years. So yeah.
That's fantastic, man. That's so fantastic. Now I know who to reach out to if I want to write a book myself at any point.
Surely, surely. Yeah.
Wonderful, wonderful. So nice to hear this. Great. So now shifting gears a little bit before we move to our concluding section, we have a small surprise this or that section. So you'll have to basically choose one option
Okay.
from the following. Are you ready?
Yes, go ahead.
Awesome. So here goes. Paap Mukt or Multipurpose with Lakshit, which is your podcast.
Paap Mukt.
Okay. Awesome. Next is best-selling author Lakshit or podcast host Lakshit.
Podcast host Lakshit.
Okay, then. Next is being a cost-effective business or being a purposeful business.
I would say both, but more of them, I think there are a lot of business with purpose. I would be say cost effective more. So we also have a purpose, but I think cost effective would be a better tag we would like to have.
Right, right. No, absolutely. Great. And the last question is Karnataka, where you spent most of your time, or Rajasthan, where your roots are.
I think both. I think
That's too much of a diplomatic
Raj.
answer. Come on, pick one.
Okay. So I would say Rajasthan, because I think as a state, as a place where my parents belong from,
Yeah,
I would say it's a part of the nation where it's lacking behind a lot, and I would love to see. I'm connected with a lot of NGOs there, and I wish to see that part of the country. I wish to see whole of India
right,
flourish very
right,
well. But as I'm connected more to Rajasthan, I would love to be there and do something for the local community there, and create a better future for the people of Rajasthan and people staying there. So I think both of them would be a thing I would be interested in for sure.
right. Absolutely, absolutely. Thank you so much for that. That wraps up the this or that section. You were quite awesome.
Thank you.
Thank you. Let's move now to the concluding part of our conversation. Now, having started a social enterprise, during the pandemic period, would you like
Mhm.
to give any advice to our listeners, especially those who, want to pursue this space professionally or maybe personally adopt a vegan lifestyle? What would you like to tell them?
Sure, sure. First, if you wish to get into, adopt to a plant-based or vegan lifestyle, first listen to me this, carefully listen this, that these all things are a luxury. You don't require to buy all of these expensive products and expensive things or even affordable things. You're not obliged to buy all of these, and can be a healthy, wonderful, and a long living vegan without consuming all of these products. You can live very well on plants without consuming all of these products existing in the market. It's just and the only idea to create and produce and make these products is because they want we want to satisfy our cravings of these curds and all of these other milks and all of these savory and sweet items. For me personally, I think I would be rarely consuming any of my products which we produce in say hardly in once or twice in a month,
Okay.
because it is not that it's not good or it's not anything as such. It's just that I don't crave for any of these things. I'm happy without having all of these products. It's totally on you if you wish to have or wish not to have. It's just, I just we say it simply, it's a luxury. You have to, it's if you're craving for it, go for it and buy it. Otherwise you can be a healthy, long living and a happy vegan without consuming any of these products. And the second part, if you're wishing to pursue this as a profession or anything as such, I think just don't listen to anyone near you. Veganism has a very very bright future in the country,
Right.
at least in the urban part of India, where more and more people are aware. So if you're doing anything related to veganism or anything as such,
Yeah.
is going to bloom up very very wonderfully. It's going to be beautifully helping you to grow, and will help you achieve all your purposes which you have for life, for sure. Just do what you feel right for. Let it be any kind of kind of entrepreneur you are, or what any kind of a business you run. Do whatever you love to do. Don't stop, don't hear anyone. If you think, if you see that there is an exponential future and you think there is a future for this, then go ahead for it. But do so don't listen to people, but do listen to what they're trying to say. Don't take it to heart. Try to listen to it. Just logically think is how logical their statement which they gave was. If you think it was logically right and that statement did make sense, then only take those decisions and listen to the people who said to you. Otherwise you're not forced to, and you should not hear to them at all. And take your own decisions. Think, discuss with people, message people on Instagram or anywhere else. You can message me, you can message Zitin, for example, if you're trying to start as a sustainable business. If you have multiple people around on internet, Instagram, just write them hi and what is your problem and what question you have, and they'll surely help you out. And I have all of the podcast 200 episodes I have done are pretty much everything. I had contacted them only and only through Instagram, so they will respond to you. Think, talk, ask, think logically, wisely, and don't stop by listening to anyone. Just be logical and think by yourself that will this flourish, will this grow. If it says yes, then don't stop yourself, go for it.
Absolutely wonderfully put, Lakshit. And on that note, I do remember you also reached out to me, I think, via Instagram DM, if I'm not
Yes,
wrong.
yes.
So it's wonderful that we're here now
Yes,
together.
we are.
So thank you so much for that. That was really great advice.
Thank
Lastly,
you.
how could our listeners really reach out to Paap Mukt and listen to your podcast if they wish to know more?
Sure. So you can type Lakshit Kankariya anywhere on Google, on Instagram or Facebook. You'll find me up. There is only two Lakshit Kankariyas, and one is me and one is the other person. But when you check, you'll get to know that you listen to this episode and you have come on my profile. And for Paap Mukt as well, you can type Paap Mukt anywhere on Google or anything. You'll find us. So you can just message us, DM us, or you can just type Lakshit Kankariya. You can type multi-purpose with Lakshit. You'll find the podcast up there. You'll find, or you can just type Lakshit Kankariya on YouTube. You'll get all my videos which I've done till now, and all of those various things. So yeah, I think that's the way you can reach out. And yeah, thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Lakshay. Thanks a lot. Of course, you being the celeb, one of the celeb guests that I've hosted on my podcast, you guys just need to type his name. That's it. You'll find him.
Yeah.
um, Thanks so much. I'm
Yeah.
pretty certain that this conversation would be very helpful to people who are trying to understand the entire food ecosystem, how it affects the environment,
Yeah.
and also maybe look at how they can start or continue their journey of building and growing purposeful businesses, adopting a vegan lifestyle, and just being sustainable at large.
Yeah.
So thank you so much for your time, Lakshit. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. It was my pleasure as well. Really glad that we had a chance to do this, and
Yes.
after a long time, I think we are in connect with, for a long time, and we had a chance to do it. So really glad, and thank you very very much for spending your time out and having me up here. Thank you very much.
Likewise. Thanks so much, Lakshit. Thank you. Take care. Bye bye.
Bye bye. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Okay, guys, thank you so much for listening. And if you like this podcast, feel free to share it in your network. If you found this podcast insightful, and if you're an aspiring entrepreneur or have an operating business, but don't know how to kickstart or grow your sustainability journey, then stay tuned for something exciting coming your way. Follow me on my socials to find out more about what's in store.